I just pushed record, or started, live. Getting this transmission of spirit initiated. Gonna get it going on, yes. And I welcome all of you, indigo souls, starseeds, all of you on a spiritual journey. Anyone trying to enlighten themselves, transform themselves. We're going to be talking about some of those ideas in the 10 stages of spiritual awakening. There could be more going on, or even less going on in your life like that, but there's like a standard stages that we go through, from, you could say, basically distortion, or from darkness to light. This is why the word enlightenment is bringing in more light. Once you were ignorant, now you're becoming knowledgeable. Okay, so this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Just lighten my charcoal disc so we can cleanse our space and energies. This type of incense is very effective for cleansing. We use frankincense for protection and cleansing. And whatever else you want to add, like I like to sometimes add dragon's blood, or like benzoin from Sumatra. It can be from anywhere. Different countries grow these resins. This one's gold Paul. So whenever you go into a spiritual quest, this is one of the things, examples of what you would be doing. Cleansing, purifying, acknowledging that there is negative energies around maybe your life or just the world in general. Negative energies in your thinking. We'll be talking about something called shadow work, because a lot of our thinking, if you're not mindful and present in your thoughts and becoming aware of what you're actually thinking regularly, not catching yourself when you do judgment or some type of, kind of like going against someone's will or imposing on someone's will, or that is part of the cleansing and purifying that you do on your journey. So looks like we got people coming on in. This is a live, so we do have a live audience as they be coming in throughout tonight's live for the next hour, 2 hours. 111, the first number, average view duration, because we just started, it's only 111, but that's a number that came into our field. So much respect to all of you. We got Leo. Hello. First time here. Welcome, Leo. Happy to have you, brother. Sarah Holder, so good to see you, sister. Much love. Always positive vibes coming from Sarah. Melvin Sanford, welcome to you. Jimmy Tai, how you doing? I'm doing good. How are you doing? Madeline King, good to see you, sister. Thank you guys for holding space with us all together as a group. Yeah, Indigo Wizard, our moderator, one of our moderators for tonight. Thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for your service and watching our back in chat. We don't have too many trolls, but every now and then we'll get one or two, right? Free White Dove, my Chiwa Holy Ones, yeah. You said it. Greetings to all. Which one do you recommend? Out of what? Oh, the resins? Frankincense. Always number one choice would be frankincense. Resin, not stick incense. Okay, brother. We'll see you in a little bit. Rosefine or Fiend? Rosefine. Greetings, holy sister. Wolf Mother. Greetings to you too, Holy One. A couple of new names so far. So yeah, you guys, this is a journey that a lot of people start in their life, and the more people that I talk to, it seems like, even including my own life, they didn't go or think about or were even interested in some type of change or transformation or spiritual journey until something bad happened in our life, something negative perhaps. And so, let me push this back. This is something that, well, let me sage myself. So this is not always the case. Sometimes you're just coming in fresh from spirit, right? You're born and you're activating, according to Ashana and these teachings, in the womb, your mother's womb, during that 9 months of pregnancy, you will be activating your fourth and fifth strand. No, I made a mistake. I meant to say fifth and sixth strand. That's this chakra and this chakra connects to your DNA. So, but they still have to do 4. It's very curious why they get 5 and 6 but not 4, right? So this probably has to do with the Stargate being taken over. Stargate 4, SG4, which is related to DNA, the consciousness. Okay, so that's all connected. Stargates, DNA, consciousness, Machiwa. So this is something that evolves. You're not limited to that. You can develop your DNA. You can even fall in your DNA. Fall in your consciousness. You're falling in your energies, life force energies, in your awareness, your identities. That's the path of chaos, you guys. We don't want to do that, not in spiritual awakening, right? So I made tonight some notes for tonight. Let me just pull that up. Yeah. Machiwa. Because I know there's a lot of advanced people, but there's also, we have to acknowledge there's newcomers. Like we just saw, the first message was on my first time here. But even so, if you're a seasoned person in these teachings, you're going to be still like thinking about some of the circumstances in your life based on what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I just want to start off right away with number 1. It's called initial awareness. Okay, so out of the 10 stages, possible stages, it doesn't mean you're going to experience all of these. This is one of them. Initial awareness. The journey begins with a sudden awareness or realization that there is more to life than the material world. Very important. Well, and so this can be triggered by a significant life event, what I just mentioned, a profound experience, or a gradual dissatisfaction with everyday life, sparking curiosity about deeper truths. So it's that initial awareness that I was kind of talking about. Not always, you would say, negative. So this could be a very beautiful experience, or a mixed, ugly and beautiful, like ugly as in negative or circumstances, because what's happening is, like it mentioned, dissatisfied, gradual dissatisfied. Something's missing in their life. You're noticing that. You're noticing that you don't feel fulfilled. You don't feel satisfied. You don't feel like you're accomplishing what you probably could do if you were understanding what was going on inside you internally, in your inner self, your inner consciousness. You know, they're behind the scenes of your busy life. Back here, you know, every now and then you'll catch yourself introspecting that, thinking about that. And maybe it's related to spirituality or religion. Like you're not happy with religion, or you're not happy with what you're studying or teaching. It doesn't feel like you grasp truth, or there's a shortcoming of what you know, and you're just going to go on a journey, a spiritual journey, to discover that. So it's the initial awareness that something's wrong, or something, it could be better. You're lacking something, and you need to go find out what that is, discover what that is. 1 second here. This is just my lemon water. I had it filled to the very top, so I was careful there. And you guys, please write in the comments as we progress through tonight's live and we talk about some of the stages, talk about your stage that we just mentioned, like what was your initial awareness, or what was your, probably what triggered you, what was your issue. And I want to say, you guys, I learned a lot by doing the what you call the interview last night, okay, with Space Storia Leslie, and with the program Zoom. So that makes me think about this tonight's subject. We'll be probably using that as some type of interviews. What was your initial spirituality? What got you into it, right? That would be one of those things that we could have someone on Zoom with us talk about. So I'm sure a lot of you, I've already had a few people mention they want to be interviewed on this topics that we, have already discussed. So, and I think that's great. I think it's good to hear other people either at the beginning of their journey or somewhere in the middle, or someone who has a lot to reflect on and talk about the things they went through in their spiritual journey. So it's not, and it's not as if your journey is over. I mean, come on. I mean, you think Ashiana's journey is over, for example? She's the main speaker. She's called Speaker 1 of these Emerald Order teachings. So if some of you are wondering where my source is, it's the Emerald Order teachings. That is our perspective. It's also called the innerchristos law of one. And that word there, inner, is the main concept. Inner God, inner Christos, inner Christ, you could say. Not an external God, an external Christ. Because we talk about Jesus, we talk about Christ, we talk about God, just not from the religious point of view. And probably a lot of you on tonight's topic is probably coming from religion. And so I've been on 2 interviews so far, and I had talked about that, my background and how I got into these spiritual teachings, so and it was pretty, strong spiritual, I don't know, it's kind of like, not necessarily in my life, but in my family's life. So I was part of that when I was a little kid. And so it wasn't always pleasant. The people in the church were not always pleasant. The people who were running the Christian grade school was not very pleasant. They were strict. They were yelling. They were hitting us with these wooden boards on our, grabbed your ankles, and they take this thing. Anyways, everyone has their memories. We're not trying to bash religion or anything like that either. We expose what is distorted in religion. And I just want to say here at the beginning, you guys don't have to agree with everything we're talking about tonight, okay? Just understand that this is based on unity of coming together, uniting together. That's what unity is. Not separating, not fragmenting us, not putting labels on us, not saying I'm a believer and you're not. I'm a chosen one and you're not. No, unity, together, a group, a group. So, Machiwa. Is being a Catholic and being an alien a bad thing? There's not such thing as a bad thing or, good or evil. When we just talked about unity, if, the universal sacred law, good question, by the way, and we'll explain that. Everyone is equal in the eyes of the real God, because there's fake gods. There's angry, pissed off gods. 111 again. This time, look, you guys, 111 views. That's 2 111s in a row. In what, 10 minutes or less? So I claim that. Someone put that in chat again. 111. It already changed, but it was 111, right? But yeah, this is sacred universal law of one. All are part of the Creator. All are creations of Creator. You can't be separate from the Creator. But religion says you can. Okay? So we're not about that. So we're about unity in the sacred law of one, at-one-ment, not atonement. There's a huge difference there. All are one? No, you must be subservient to Creator, God. So, and this is a choice. This is a discernment of each individual, of all of you. You know, must make that decision within your own spirit, with your own consciousness, your own soul. You decide. What do you feel? Okay. So, but a lot of people going on this journey are starting to question that angry God, judgmental God. Okay, that's why they go on a spiritual journey looking for truth, not half-truths. Okay, so, and bless you for having the courage, because it could take courage to leaving your, for example, it's just an example because it's on my own, it may take you courage to leave your Christian family, Catholic family, whatever. Because, you know, you're going to get some slack from that. And move on, Holy One. Move on towards what's more important? Living your life for your family or for other people? Your partner? Your friends? Living life for someone else? Or are you going to make this, you know, when it comes to spirituality, that is a very personal and very important aspect of your life. So make sure that it's based on what you are trying to accomplish in your personal life. So, Machiwa. Oh, I don't know if I finished answering. So let me do that real quick. Is being a Catholic and being an alien. So, back to that universal law of one. Don't worry about being bad or wrong. Okay? That is mainstream telling you that. That's religions telling you that. That's even spirituality. You know, there's a lot of fake spiritual systems telling you that. It is called the New Age channeling movement. Okay? And so don't worry about that. If you want to know from the innerchristos law of one point of view, no, it's not bad. You can be whatever you want. You're God, you're sovereign, you're free. We just talked about law of one. Others would say that's blasphemy. Okay? No, it's not a sin against God. This is you going through an experience. Maybe you're a Catholic. Maybe, and apparently you found out you're a starseed or an alien or some type. Maybe one of the hybrids. You're here with us as a human, but you're probably part something else as well. Part human. And that has to do with, think about it, these soul essences go through the reincarnation process just like humans do. The human souls are going into human bodies. These aliens or from other worlds are coming and incarnating the same way. They come into the fetus just like you came into the fetus. Right? Okay, you got your mother, she's pregnant, she's going to have a baby. You came into there 33 days or minimum. I mean, that's the minimum. It could be later, but not earlier. Minimum 33 days is when your soul was in that fetus. And the fetus will grow and grow and grow, and your mother will bear you, and you'll be a little baby, a little kid. You grow up in the world, awakened, or maybe you're sleeping in your awakening, you know, right? The aliens come through this way. The soul will go into the body of the fetus, and think about that. That's an arrangement. That's an agreement. And there's even talked about in these teachings in the Voyagers books about birthing contracts. Okay, so you had a birthing contract to come into that fetus. You had made an agreement with your mother's soul level and your father's soul level. So their 3D level probably doesn't remember, just like you don't remember dreams when you wake up, generally speaking. You're cut off from that level, the soul level, awareness. Because that has to do with the planetary grids and our distortions in our DNA. Remember, if there's distortions in your DNA, there's going to be distortions in your memory and in your consciousness in general. And so that's why they want to distort our bodies. They want to distort our minds, consciousness. So we can have a distortion and not know our true identity, not know truth, or even have discernment. They don't want you to have discernment or truth or connection to your higher selves, your higher consciousness. When I say they, I'm talking about the spiritual war. There's spiritual bondage happening on earth. That's what religions are, spiritual bondage. And so this is something that one of the things that you're doing in your stages of spiritual awakening is finding out there's a spiritual war going on. Now, in religion, they talk about spiritual war. Sure, they talk about Satan and Lucifer. But this is a fallen angelic war. This is beings, negative aliens, coming to our star system, coming to our planet, and going through this aggressive takeover, you could say. Not out in the open, but it could lead to that. Something called Project Bluebeam, a fake alien invasion, mixed in with real alien invasions. So you better believe they're going to play that card if and when they need to. How does that work? Well, think about the word blue beam. And if you read some of that, you'll know that one of these famous Hollywood directors are involved. Because they have to use technology to put, beam a spirit in the sky. Like Jesus or Mary. And there's already been examples of this, you guys. You can go online and see people freaking out of some spirit in the sky. They have no discernment. It doesn't even click in their mind. That could be an illusion of some, just like, I don't like to say the hashtag, but the 9/11 event. The supposed hologram airplanes or some type of illusion of airplanes. Okay, so you having a fake plane, but a real explosion. You see what I'm saying? So people don't believe that. They don't have that. They're not ready for that kind of stuff. They don't have the activations for that. So they think it's all conspiracy nonsense. And that's fine. That's your level of awareness. Excuse me. And so we're like going to be going through step 2. Let's go to step 2. Stage 2, I mean. So you go through an initial awareness. That's the first thing you do, where you start to shift your mind, your emotions, your spirit starts to shift to whatever you've been living in your life is not working, so you're going towards something else. And maybe it's because you're suffering. You don't want to suffer no more. So you're going over here or there or somewhere other than what you were doing before. Initial awareness, first stage. So, okay. I keep losing my place. I got all these freaking 50 windows open, literally. My computer has 128 gigabytes of RAM, which I would like to double that on my next computer build. Yeah, so no wonder I went to the... Sorry, guys. Questioning beliefs, stage number 2. So you went from that initial to now you're starting to question your beliefs. Okay, as awareness grows, okay, because now it's been sparked, you start to question long-held beliefs and social, or societal norms. What I mentioned earlier, the mainstream. This stage involves a critical examination of your worldview, religious teachings, and cultural conditioning, leading to a search for personal truth. So your soul level of your own consciousness is seeking truth, wants truth, doesn't want half-truths. You're starting to question what you've been brought up in. I started questioning even before. I remember myself as a little kid, man, in this Christian elementary grade school and in Sunday school, because I was dragged to both. I didn't have a choice as a little minor kid. I was asking the teacher all the time, man, questions. What about this? What about that? They get angry or mad. I thought you were spiritually evolved. Why are you angry at a little kid for asking a question? I was questioning when I was a little kid, and they didn't like that. I remember going to Christian, what do you call that? Camps. Like we had camps in Tucson, Arizona. I had camps in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Was it Oklahoma? No. What's that? It's next to, it's like a swampy climate. Arkansas. It was Arkansas. Sorry. So and I would be questioning all the teachers and preachers, and they're not answering my questions. They can't answer our questions. You know, their answer, if they can't answer, because they can't, they're not connected to source God like they think they are. They're not connected to their higher consciousness like they think they are. They will always give you the answer, it's faith. You must have faith. That's like when the government will just say top secret. We can't tell you. It's you know. They always come to a conclusion with your questioning. They want you to stop questioning. You're not allowed to question. Well, this is stage 2 of going. Stages of spiritual awakening, and so this is something that, like I said, you could be suddenly now the dark sheep of your family. Okay? I was never really the dark sheep of my family. But I was definitely, when I started experiencing psychic abilities, they frowned upon that. They didn't like that very much, and they thought I was being influenced by these dark spirits. And, they have specific lingo in religion. They'll say you're demon possessed. Or something like this, okay? This is what all the old beliefs and paradigms that we're letting go, okay? Thank goodness, right? Okay, so, yeah, you start questioning beliefs, and there's lots of reasons why you're questioning beliefs. And if you guys watching this video, please share your experiences as I'm sharing my very personal experience of when I was questioning beliefs. When did you question beliefs, Holy Ones? Write it in the comments. Machiwa. And if you guys want to ask me a question, please put Christos avatar somewhere in your message, because then YouTube highlights it for me. Thank you. Where do you get the Emerald Order teachings? James, I don't know. Good question. And I'll have, Indigo Wizard took off, right? Oh, he's here. Yeah, Indigo or Celine, can you guys please share the Voyager's books for this? Some question got it deleted. Well, I thought there was someone who was asking about the Emerald Order teachings. Just go ahead and give them a link for someone wants to know. Osvaldo Lopez, religion equals legion. Legion. You mean legion, right? Legion. That's a good observation, Holy One. Kimber Baker in the house. KOG, whom had Christos consciousness? You mean activated? Fully? Completely? That would be Jesus. The real Jesus. Because there's 2 other fake Jesus. Oh, there's probably more now, nowadays, but I mean back in those days. Back in those actual Jesus days, there was 3 fake ones. There was 2 fake ones, 1 real one. And that is the answer to your question. The real Jesus, who had 12 strands activated, was a person who had Christos consciousness. Our teacher, Ashiana Dean, she's another example of someone who has Christos consciousness. A lot of people you see here learning their inner Christos are also examples of Christ consciousness, or developing into our Christ consciousness, expanding our Christ consciousness, which is, I keep trying to remind you guys, whenever you hear the word Christ, think of 12th dimension, because that's what it is. It's 12th dimensional consciousness, 12th dimensional identity. After all, this is the level where you have your divine blueprint. That means your perfect DNA template. Okay? It cannot be distorted, because in the 12th dimension, it is not polarized. 11th dimension and down, because we're in 3D out of 12 of the human genome. Okay, so we are, that's all distortion, 1 through 11. And progressively gets worse and worse as you get down to the lower dimensions. And we're in dimension 3, so it gets really distorted down here. So, yeah, anyone working on their inner Christos, inner Christ, is an answer to your question, Machua. Oh, I see. Truth comes from about. Okay, you guys. Now I see why Indigo Wizard would probably delete some things. You guys, you don't have to agree with our teachings. All right? Which is, once again, Emerald Order, Inner Christos, Law of One. You can talk about Jesus and God, but please be respectful for our teachings. So be careful on how you write your message in order to not be confused with judgment. Talk about Jesus if you want to, but not through judgment, of what we're learning and talking about and sharing and believing in. You believe in yours, we believe in our teaching. So you can disagree and even voice your disagreement, but just be respectful to other people. Don't be damning other people and judging other people, because we'll have to let you go. Just letting you know. That's why I have moderators here, because I can't do it all. I can't pay attention to what everyone's saying, so we have someone who does do that. Okay, so soul contracts, KOG. I didn't call it a soul contract. I call it a birthing contract, okay? So, but let me just go in here and show you, how religious people like to quote Bible verses? We quote Emerald Order verses. So let's do that. And let me open Voyagers 1 and 2, because it could be in one or the other. So, what? 1 second here as I pull it up. Unless I misunderstood you the wrong way. What's going on? Oh. Okay. Master Templar. Voyagers 1, Voyagers 2. Okay, let's bring that up. And birthing contracts. Birthing contracts. Okay. I actually want to show this. Let me delete. Let me show this on the screen so it's transparent. And this is what we always are providing free links to download this yourself. Or you can support Ashiana and buy it on her website. Just saying. Okay, so here we are. And I'll look under birthing, because it's a real thing. Birthing, contracts. There's 20 results. They're called Palladorian birthing contracts. Okay, Palladorian birthing contracts, which is another word for the beings from Tara creating this project. There's a whole chapter on it, man. There's a whole chapter on birthing contracts on page 207 of the PDF. And there's also something called contract bonds and the incubation right. Okay, so you would go to this, in the physical book, it's page 194, birthing contracts. Let me go down it. Some of the parents' couples will be consciously aware of these contract bonds. So remember, I mentioned earlier that some of your parents won't be aware. Well, some of them are. Some of them, the parents, are consciously aware of these contract bonds and birthing contracts. Others will be consciously unaware and just so happen to fall in love with each other, your soulmate or the person you're supposed to be with and all that. So, and there's more information. It talks about 150,000 paradisian souls. It talks about 6 silent avatars, which I've heard Ashiana talk about. Even Jesus is coming back. Jesus is one of these. silent avatars. But notice the word silent. They're not on social media. They're not on the news. They're not going to be in public. They're silent for a reason. And so they're back basically holding code. And here's the 144,500 indigo children. The first wave. So that already happened. And so, I'm just trying to show you guys it's a real thing. It's not called soul contracts, it's called birthing contracts. Just to clarify from the comment made in my chat. So, all right. I want to see if there's any highlighted questions for me. Because there's no way I can see all of you guys in there. I mean, see all the questions. Hewley, yeah. See, like Hewley did. Christos Avatar. How many strands did Buddha and Shiva have active? Actually, I'm not sure about that. You're talking about Buddhism and Hinduism, which both have distortions. I don't know Buddha's full teachings, but I know that some people teaching Buddhism and Hinduism are all about the guru. You don't need a guru. You don't need a Buddha. We all become Buddha, technically. As a matter of fact, there's distortions in those nowadays, but let me show you the diagram, because there is a level of consciousness it's called Buddhaic consciousness. Oh my gosh, I thought I had this open already. I did. I gotta reopen it. So sorry guys, give me a second. Oh wait, I haven't taken off the PDF yet. Sorry guys, we'll get that straightened out. I'm glad it didn't happen for the whole live. But yeah, I gotta open up this diagram again. I'm pretty sure I had it open. I don't know why it's not showing it open, but won't take only literally a few seconds. Okay, man. We're gonna deal with this crap. I'm gonna change the properties to Photoshop. There you go. What do you want to say about that? Okay, so let me bring that up for you guys. So I can't say about the Buddha himself, but the guardians refer to the 11th dimension as Buddhaic mind, which is the avatar level. Now, I also know that yes, Buddhism and Hinduism have become distorted just like Christianity had become distorted. It wasn't always mixed truths. So these are avatars. So you could say if Buddha was a D12 or D11 incarnate, it would be 11 strands of DNA or 12 strands of DNA. Now, even though this is Christos consciousness, Christ consciousness at 12D, there is a reference here, Christic mind, and Nirvanic mind as well, which is your D12 divine blueprint. So anyways, this is just me not guessing, but just simply trying to put a connection here. If Buddha was an avatar, either 12 strand or 11 strand or 12 strand, 10, 11, or 12 strand. So let me look at the other part of that. Shiva. Now Shiva, okay, so Shiva's a different story. Now let's look at this. You look at pictures of Shiva. Oh, let me take that picture off and again, so I don't do that same mistake. Okay. I just know that there's a lot of distortions in the Hindu gods, man. There's horrible characteristics of these beings, and I know they have blue skin like the guardians do, but hey, it doesn't mean they stayed good, So blue skin means they're part of the Maharaji or they're part of the Indigos, or they're coming from, the Sirius, however you want to pronounce it, Sirius A or B. And so, but you look at Kali, for example, she's cutting off people's heads and putting them around her neck like a necklace, literally. And she's putting because their severed arms and legs around her waist like a skirt. It's sick. It's horrible, man. It's effed up. And she's being worshipped as a goddess. And same with Shiva. You're going to find these horrible things that these beings represent. Now, the one that seems to be the nicest is Brahma. But you will find that he was also arrogant and prideful. What kind of avatar is arrogant and prideful? Right? But what I'm saying is his other homies were doing horrible things, kidnapping, murdering, sacrificing, cutting off heads, cannibalism. Okay, so I don't have much to positive things to say about Shiva. Machiwa. That's something that you can find in your own personal self. Find in your own journey about that. But technically, if we're going to take these pictures, artwork of Shiva, look what these beings look like. They still look human looking. There's human features. They're still looking dense. You don't see ghost-like images. So they can't be higher than the 6th dimension. So that's 6 strands for Shiva. 6 or less. And they're calling us their gods. I know we're in 3D and they're in 6D or 5D, but hey, where do you think humans originally come from? Okay? We're higher than those races. The Christed level, 12D, is higher than 11D and 10D. And of course, 5 and 6D. And so, there's a mixed message in Hinduism. They also put down women. Okay? They're also patriarchy, putting down women, just like all patriarchies. It's sexist. And there's some major problems when you put down the divine feminine. There's an agenda behind putting down divine feminine. Okay? In the Hindu world, men are ruling. Straight up. They may be worshiping goddesses, but they treat their women like garbage. And generally speaking, you will see chauvinistic attitudes, and this is coming from a religion. Machiwa. I don't mean disrespect to your beliefs, brother. I'm just speaking from, the perspective of the distortions that you can see. Anyone can see the distortions in these beings. And the same with Yahweh, you can see the distortions. You can see the distortions in Allah. And that's part of your spiritual journey. We start to see distortions in the things that we used to believe. You transmute that. You shift into what you're really aligned with. Your soul is aligned with. Remember, when we talk about the soul from these teachings, it's a higher level of yourself. It exists in the now, but in another time vector. And as a psychic being, you're becoming psychic or will become psychic. You're literally connecting to those parts of yourself. Now your thoughts, your words, your works are going to be multidimensional now. Okay? Machiwa. Eric, there were other 2 Jesus? Yeah, that would be a good video. I haven't done a video about it, but I do talk about it in my lives. The Guardians, it's in Voyagers. This is why we always give Voyagers in all my lives. I mean, we give links to go get it if you want to. There's a whole chapter on the 3 Christs. Okay, so let's do that. On PDF again. So I'll switch to the PDF. And then let's go to the top. And it's actually called the 3 Christs. So let me put the word Christ. And it will come up, I think. The real Christ. Because remember, there's fake ones. The real Christ. The real crucifixion. The Christ drama has to do with three Christ. The Hebrew morphogenetic field. Oh, that's the Earth Seed and Star Seed project. Here we go. Okay, so let's remove this. That's even when you see this spelling. That's Jeshua 9. Let's go to the other Jeshua. Jeshua 12. The Guardians call Jesus Jeshua, just so you know. All right, so this thing is talking about both Jesus, or because the third Jesus was only used for the crucifixion. Jeshua 9 and Jeshua 12, there's a lot of information about those two, but there's hardly any information about the one who's actually crucified. I mean, the poor guy, right? I mean, that was his main purpose, to be crucified on the cross. And we might find it in this text. 12th dimensional avatar. Oh, this might be important too. The 12th level avatar, which is Jesus, Jeshua, his purpose was to realign the sphere of Amenti, which is our soul matrix for the human race, down here for our ascension, and the Alcyon morphogenic field, because we were connected to Alcyon. First, before the pole shift, the first pole shift, we were aligned to Egypt. I mean, the Egypt was aligned to Sirius, and then it was aligned to the Pleiades, and their planet's called Alcyon. You know, that has to do with the alignment of the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was misaligned when the pole shift happened. I'm not trying to get off topic, but so he was meant to bring in that 12 strand. He's a 12-strand avatar trying to help others obtain their 12-strand DNA, their Christ consciousness. He was the one that had to come in order to have it available on the planet. It would not be available on the planet if this Jesus avatar did not come in. This child's soul essence, remember, I talk about how the soul essence goes into the fetus. This child's soul essence was born from Density Universe 4, that's 12th dimensional avatar. His name there, though, is not Jesus, it's Sananda. And the child's name here is Jeshua Melchizedek, because he's one of the Melchizedeks coming in. Melchizedek is a line of starseeds. And here in this book, they're going to refer him as Jeshua 12, because there's more than one Jesus. So, what? They made a mistake in the book here, huh? Oh, and it says right after I was wondering, right after, the personages of Mary and Joseph were not the parents of this avatar child. They were the parents of the 9th level avatar, soon to follow. So Jeshua was here first, and then the Jeshua 9 was, they put him in here. And not through immaculate deception, or immaculate conception either. The Jeshua 12 was the one from House of Solomon, not the other one. So yeah, this is part of the whole thing about the three Jesus. Let me find the guy who was actually crucified. I forgot his name. It starts with an A. Jeshua 12, Jeshua 9. Here he is. Another man by the name of Arihabi, who was a Jerusalem-born Hebrew Melchizedek, who was led by the Elohim through a series of visions. Elohim is negative. Through a series of visions. So they used him and gave him visions to believe that he was the true Jeshua. Oh, we're talking about the Arihabi, sorry. So they made him think he was Jeshua 9, Jesus. So they made this guy think he was the true Jesus. Neither one of them were. So he's the one that was crucified. And it goes into this whole thing, and there's a whole chapter on it. Just wanted to point that out because a lot of religious people may be watching some of this videos, right? So, and much respect to you guys' beliefs. We simply, once again, as you can see, are showing you from the inner Christ point of view. Because your religions are strongly against you because they have the whole sinner concept. You're not part of God. They separate you from God. No, that's a distortion. Your creations of creator. There's no way you can be separate from your creator. That's the message of a race of beings trying to trick you, fool you, dominate you, take you out. And it's been very productive. You know, they had all the holy wars. So what's holy about war? What's holy about sacrificing someone on a cross? What's holy about suffering and torture? Right? What's holy about killing children? You know, you've heard me talk about this stuff. So, Passover, killing children, baby. What's up? Black magic spells at the same time. That's a black magic curse, and it's about sacrificing blood and death. They had to wipe blood, animals sacrifice blood on their door. These are people who agree on this. They're not going through their stages of spiritual awakening yet, right? So that's what they align with. So, and you want to see the teaching on that? Well, I just gave you a reference, Holy One. You can download it right now and start reading it. And check if you resonate with that information. Because they're going to say a lot about stuff about religion in the Voyager's books. Hey, Monster Queen, good to see you, sister. Mr. Bandism, since I was a boy, I have always said that I am a god. I am God. 40 plus years later, I think the same. Only now I understand how right I was the whole time. And you guys, I know some people are going to react and take this out of context. What he's saying. Saying I am God, that means all are God. Not I am the God and you must worship me. No, it's not coming from a place of that type of control or some type of judgment or, you know, or arrogance or pride. That's something when you say I am God, that means you understand unity consciousness. You understand that all of the creation that you experience is God in its manifest forms. Everything in reality is creator at different frequency levels. This is how the hologram works, man. It's worked based on the creation currents, energy of God. Energy is consciousness. This whole system is created by consciousness. Look at what the quantum physicists say. Nothing is physical. And we agree with that in these teachings. Nothing is physical. Everything is made of consciousness. And it's an illusion. Consciousness is making you perceive physicality. I'm real. You're real, but you're not physical. Okay? And just because it's all a hologram, it's not physical, doesn't mean it's not important. Of course it's important. You came here, a holy divine ascended master came here. You're an ascended master who came here. It's important. You're valuable. It's not nothing because it's not physical. Isn't it interesting that the less physical you are, the more real you are? More closer to your true self is a being of pure consciousness, not densification of matter form in the holographic universes, in the density universes, but something that has no density. Okay? No chemical template, no particles like you think, but just pure consciousness. So, Machiwa. Tai, you said a Holy One. Through self-sovereignty, I am God, that's self-sovereignty. I am sovereign. I am free. It's Affirmation. I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. Okay? And this is what our brother's saying. Through self-sovereignty, true personal security, and clear answers will be found. And that's exactly what the teachings are about. Going inside and finding it. Not out here to some 2,000-year-old book. Not out here to some self-proclaimed archangel or some self-proclaimed God or pagan God or demigod or goddess. It doesn't matter. We're not looking out here for Creator, for God, or for ourselves. We're always going inside here. We acknowledge that you're part of that sacred law of one, that you're part of the unified field. You can't be outside the unified field. We're all part of it. We're all made of it. The interesting thing about consciousness is we can sit in this creation right here in the third dimension, but access the higher levels of this creation of God. It's actually amazing because these teachings break down the creation of Creator. It's not a secret. It's not impossible for you to understand. Okay? You don't have to learn physics to understand it. You don't need a laboratory or equipment to see what the main universe. I've seen it, man. I've been at that level. I don't know what it was, but it was like there's the form. It's like you go to a place of creation where nothing is physical, where it's obvious that it's not physical. It's like you see behind the matrix. You will eventually see behind the matrix, man. Behind what's the physical. What's behind quarks, subatomic particles. You will witness it. You'll be testimony of it. No, what they call it? Faith is required. No faith. No subservience. No savior required. You simply go on a spiritual journey like we're doing tonight and develop yourself. Let's go to part 3, stage 3. Okay, first we had initial awareness. Now you're questioning beliefs. Now it's inner turmoil, stage number 3 of the 10 stages of spiritual awakening. This stage is often marked by confusion, emotional upheaval, a sense of loss as old beliefs and identities. Your old self, you might start to lose those parts of yourself, and it feels confusing, as we said. It can be a challenging time of inner conflict as you struggle to let go of the familiar and embrace the unknown. And I can imagine this very difficult, the inner turmoil stage for religious people, because they feel like they're doing something maybe terrible, or something in the back of their mind thinks they're going to be punished by God by going on this journey. So you experience conflict, maybe anxiety, should I do it or not do it? And maybe you will flip-flop. In your spiritual awakening, you'll start to flip-flop. Oh, I'll go back to this. You'll go back. Then no, I want to awaken. No, your guilt. Maybe your family's giving you guilt, or someone's giving you guilt. Your preacher is giving you guilt. This is part of your next stage. You're going to start going through some turmoil, some confusion, emotional upheavals, a sense of loss. Put it in the comments if you felt that when you're going through your spiritual awakening, you guys. I didn't. I was rushing out the door, man, when I was a teenager. I wanted to get out of that. I mean, this preacher of our church was very arrogant, very prideful, and he would yell at you, like you go from the Sunday school, you graduate and get to go sit with the adults as a teenager, and we're teenagers, man. We're not always paying attention, and this preacher would yell and scream at you, and I'm not joking. He would yell and scream at you, make you feel like total shit, and then go back to his sermon. And that was regularly, and not just one person. He would call out other people not paying attention or fidgeting. Now, maybe church is not like that. I'm just telling you an example of inner turmoil that you're going to either want to get out of that judgment, or part of you is torn, like you're not sure. You're going to have inner turmoil. So I didn't really go through that. I just couldn't wait to get out and be on my own. And that's okay. I think most teenagers want to get out on their own anyways. That doesn't have to be spiritual, but for me it was one of the reasons. I'm not going to be told I got to go to church, if I don't want to, and then made feel bad, like you're something wrong, something's going to bad happen to you. You're sinning. Oh my gee, I'm sinning. As a teenager, I'm sitting there in church, and I'm always thinking, am I sinning? Was that a sin that I just thought, oh, that pretty girl, was that a sin? Am I sinning? What am I sinning? It is freaking punishment. It is torture. You go psycho, you go loco, man, if you're sinning or not. And then you got to go pray, all these religions have their different ways of confessing sin, I guess. Matua. So, yeah, I'm sure some of you felt some of this confusion, emotional upheaval, and senses of loss of your old paradigm, right? Like, whoa, am I ready for this? Yeah, Melvin said it. Because I can see it when you don't have to put the pound sign, or the email sign, but as long as you put Christos avatar somewhere, it will become highlighted. So thank you guys for being here, hanging this with us about the 10 stages of spiritual awakening. Welcome to the show. Oh, Helena's a regular. Stardust Goddess was ready too. And she was, I'm ready, man. Oh, Zoto asking about diets. You don't have to necessarily be a vegetarian as long as it's liquidarian, because you can do vegetables. I know all these people are into fruits. If those people are calling themselves alkaline, what do? You don't know alkaline then. Fruits are somewhere in the middle of acidity. There's hardly any fruits up there in the alkaline level. Fruits are sugar, man. Whether it's natural, you want to call, it's natural sugar, so it's okay. No, it's still going to give you acidic issues. And I know it tastes better, but you still want to be, if you want to be strict on this, you want to gear towards vegetables, man, not fruits. Let me see. I must have had that somewhere. Let me pull that up. Health. I have I have all these notes, and I have a bunch of notes on health and stuff. It's not in there, man. Oh, it's under diet, maybe. Okay, so these are some of the things in 1,000 plus alkaline foods. Because you got base, 0. And then you got negative 10,000. Well, this is 1,000, which is pH 10. 1,000 plus alkaline foods. You're not going to see any fruits in here, man. Raw spinach, raw black broccoli, artichokes, raw asparagus, red cabbage, raw celery, cauliflower, collard. You see any fruits? Collard greens, if I said that right. Collard greens. Cucumber, raw kale, dandelion, raw onions, lemons and limes, rhubarb stalks, soy lecithin, alfalfa grass, barley grass, wheat grass, black radish. Now, most humans are not going to want to eat this stuff, right? But I'm just trying to make it, just show you guys. Now, that was 1,000 alkaline. Here's 100 alkaline. We'll see how many fruits are in 100 alkaline. Avocados, green tea, most lettuce, raw zucchini, red radish, red beets, raw tomato, French beans. They say, some people, well, they say tomatoes are fruits. Parsley, cilantro, raw peas, raw eggplant, alfalfa sprouts, green beans, beet greens, garlic, but Dr. Sebi has a problem with garlic, so I wouldn't use that as an example. Dog shaved grass, straw grass, lemongrass, see? Squash. See, we still haven't, see how all these clueless people about alkaline think you're going for fruitarian or fruits. Okay, here's the 10 times alkaline level. Still no fruits. Brussels sprouts, green cabbage, cooked spinach, cooked broccoli. You see the raw broccoli were way up higher. As soon as you cook it, you see it drops it down to 10 times alkaline. Cooked asparagus, lima beans, garbanzo beans, chickpeas. That's why I put chickpeas in mine, because it's still alkaline. Cooked eggplant, sour grapefruit, raw almonds, wild rice, quinoa. You can call it chickpeas. Oh no, that's not chickpeas. Quinoa is like, it looks like it's a grain or a rice, but it's not. And that's it. Olives, bell peppers, watercress, white radish, and lamb's lettuce. Okay. Okay, now neutral. Now we're talking about neutral. It's not acidic or alkaline. And still no fruits. Most olive oils, pumpkin seeds, primrose seeds, marine lipids. Oh, wow. Marine fats. Sesame seeds, raw goat milk, fennel seeds, sunflower seeds. See, we're still not talking about fruits. Now 10 times more acidic. Now we're no longer alkaline. Now you're going to start seeing what you're eating in your diet. Fresh water. Interesting. Fish. Okay, now we're starting to talk about meats. So of course you're going to get into acidic level. Spelt, soy flour, Brazil nuts, wheat. Let me make sure I don't have no camera on. Yeah. I said Brazil nuts, wheat kernels, coconut, macadamias, grapes, hazelnuts, brown rice, wheat, papaya, stevia, agave, watermelon, cantaloupe. These are acidic, man. Strawberries, plums, blueberries, raspberries, and this is 100 times acidic. Cooked honey, cooked beans, bread, liver, organ meats, cocoa, soy milk, white rice, potatoes, buttered corn, soft cheeses, milk and cream, cooked tomatoes, sweet potatoes, whole grain. See, these a lot of things that people think they're healthy. They think whole grain's healthy. White bread, white biscuit, fruit juice, cashews, oysters, rice cakes, sugar, ketchup, mayonnaise, figs, prunes, roast hips, cooked. Now here's 1,000 times. Okay? 1,000 times acidic. Turkey, ocean fish, chicken and eggs, hard cheeses, mustard, canned fruits, beer, wines, cream cheese, most pastries, popcorn. 1,000 times, man. Peanuts, pistachios, fruit drinks, beet juice, white sugar, coffee. And this is part of your spiritual awakening, by the way. What the shit? Okay, I'm almost done. 10,000 times acidic food, which is most humans that you know personally are eating this, and maybe you yourself are eating the worst acidic food on the planet. 10,000 times acidic level. This is keeping you in pork, veal, beef, lamb, pickles, vinegar, black tea. I never heard of black tea. Soy sauce, hard liquors, canned foods. Oh shit. Remember, the alkaline diet is about stop using the microwave, stop eating processed food, stop eating packaged food. Okay? So canned foods, processed foods, microwave foods, sweetened fruits and juices. See, people get the juice because they think it's healthy. No, honey, it's 10,000 times acidic level. Stress. Oh, these are non food things that are 10,000 times acidic. Stress, worry, lack of sleep, tobacco products, chewed or smoked, artificial sweeteners, sweet and low, chocolate, chocolati, mocha, frappuccinos. Damn! I used to drink those, man. I don't drink them anymore. Sodas, of course, and carbonated beverages. It was a bit off topic, but it's still part of your spiritual awakening. TY, you said it, Holy One. We cannot urge you enough. And we're talking about the audience who's going in their spiritual awakening. We cannot urge you enough to begin looking within, to discover the wisdom and brilliance of your inner self. You said it, brother. Thank you. Oh, Ty. You said it, Ty. Thank you, Holy One. James Ayano, you are absolutely wrong. I'm sorry, brother. You're definitely right about all of your teachings, but you were wrong about health fruitarianism. I don't know when you wrote that message, but I wasn't attacking fruitarianism. Just like we talk about religion, we simply are and you know, James, we talk about law of one. We don't call people wrong or right. That's not Christ-like. That's not Christ consciousness. We didn't block you, but you know, and I don't tell people they're wrong either. Okay, and I don't tell people they're right. You be very careful what we're used to saying. Oh, you're wrong. You're right. Or I'm right. You're wrong. How can God be right or wrong? Or you could say wrong. How could God be wrong? All are one. I'm God. You're God, James. Everyone's God. How can God be right, wrong? If you can't be wrong, you can't be right. You can't say good or evil. If you're talking this way, it means you still don't understand unity consciousness. And I love you. I'm not attacking you or anything. But apparently you're attacking me and saying I'm wrong. I just went through the alkaline food. I just told you straight up, this is out there. Dr. Sebi Vatos, he was murdered for this information. Murdered. He's the one that brought us the alkaline diet. Check. Or not. You don't have to follow it. And you're not right or wrong. I'm not right or wrong. But we're simply talking from the inner, this wouldn't be talked about in the inner Christos. So I haven't actually heard Ashiana talk about that. Yeah. Well, I don't know where coffee is. That was just my compiled list of doing a hell of a lot of research on alkaline food. And so go look up coffee online. Coffee, alkaline or acidic, what level of alkaline is coffee? Word it, something like that. Excuse me. I agree with you, Lori. Pickles are awesome, but they're acidic. You see, I'm not telling you you're right or wrong. James wants to tell you you're right or wrong. Bless you, sister. Pickles are awesome, right? A lot of things that are not... Wait. Oh, my screen is just now to be refreshed. A lot of things we love. I love chocolate, man. It's acidic. I love cocoa. I'm not saying I don't like these foods. I like them too. But I got to be strict with myself. I'm on a spiritual journey. I want to, have no issues with my health. So I got to just like this lesson today is about... Well, let me go back to that. The problem is I got this on a separate window. I got to put it on the same window. The questioning the beliefs, the initial awareness, questioning beliefs, or the inner turmoil, missing the old diet, for example. That was my old beliefs, my old way of thinking. So going to the new way might not be fun. But imagine this. If you get used to eating regularly vegan or alkaline, you will no longer be introducing those parasitical foods, man. Because you're not feeding your body, you're feeding parasites in your body. They are the ones who want that shit. If you go into breatharianism, if you start studying breatharianism, you don't need food, you don't need water. And you could consider that an advanced topic. Because there's a 98% of people will, or maybe 99% of people will not believe in that statement. You know what that means? That means they're simply not ready to be a breatharian. When you start thinking about breatharianism, you start doing searches on breatharianism, you're setting yourself to be ready to start going on a different path. And so you'll change more paradigms and go through some more inner turmoil, but it's going to be worth it. Because you're no longer, whatever doesn't serve you anymore, the pizza doesn't serve me anymore. I used to order pizzas regularly. There was a time in my life where I lived off of pizzas. Okay? I had no problems with money back in those days. I'll order another pizza. Put the leftovers in there, heat it up later, use the microwave. Hey, I'm transparent. I can tell you about things, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong or right. Come on, you guys. Let's be more loving than that. Let's be more polite and friendly than that. Let's not trigger, okay? Please don't trigger and start sending your, when someone's really pissed off, you see spit come out of their mouth as they're screaming, right? Let's not froth at the mouth. Let's not start acting crazy towards each other. Let's be gentle and friendly and peacefully disagree. Peacefully, kindly disagree. That's not my truth, brother. Like, for example, that's not exactly my truth, brother. This is my truth. And we share. We're sharing each other's truth. Not attacking each other's truth. Not judging each other. Not telling each other you're wrong or right. The fourth one, seeking guidance. We will go into I think a lot of people though get stuck at this level, seeking guidance. So I have to be careful how I say this. It's a stage of first of all, you're going into a new level of yourself. And you realize you don't know anything about spirituality. Like you're very knowledgeable about the Bible and about all the teachings and verses and chapters, but you don't know really much about spirituality. So you're going to want to seek guidance. And there's nothing wrong with that. But just realize at the end of the day, we learn some information and you can start just looking inside. And you don't need a middleman. You don't need someone, you do your own research and then you see what resonates and you find a teaching like this, the innerchristos, that empowers you, not disempowers you. Because religion disempowers you. Now you're subservient and a sinner and you're being yelled at and screamed at and being judged and being tormented and being separated from the believers. You're being separated from the chosen ones. Okay? So no, transmute. Or you don't want to be disempowered. Okay? You want to be empowered. And not from a space of ego. Because there's some people who become spiritual, and they think they're better than everybody else. You haven't learned a damn thing, have you? You're still learning. And that's okay. Just you're calling people wrong and stuff, for example. So you see what someone's level is at based on what words they choose. You start to be more responsible for what comes out of your mouth. We start to think before we speak, and remember, maybe you're committed to being a light worker. You're committed to walking a path, a Christic path, okay? Christic principles. And it just came into my mind, so I'll bring that up. And this is part of your spiritual awakening, part of tonight's topic. Let me bring that up. It's called the 12 Attitudes of Mastery. And this I'll put on a screen as well. We're not supposed to be judging people or telling people they're wrong. This is not like the 10 Commandments. This is what the guardians are sharing with us. What are the attitudes of being a spiritual master? And let me share that with you on the screen. Which this is coming from Kathara, but I think it's also in the Dance for Life workshop. So, and all this stuff is highlighted because of I've been a student since 2010. I went through and highlighted certain things. What? I used the wrong button. Okay, so this is how we treat each other. Through love. With grace. We learned gratitude. We learned reverent respect for each other, whether you disagree or get along. We want to always get along, but whether you agree with something or disagree with something, we're still treating each other with reverent respect. And plus, this is another attitude of mastery, co-creating with serving and being able to respond to the all-oneness. That includes the person that you're talking to. All one. You're all part of the one. Living with trust, living with accountability, impeccability, mindfulness, fearlessness, engaged detachment, and joy. Okay? Are you living a life of joy, of fearlessness, mindfulness, impeccability, or are you still judging people? Trying to manipulate people, put people in fear, put people in shame. What's up with that? Are you spiritual or not? Are you speaking lip service to being Christ consciousness and still judging people? What's up? Machiwa, you're still stuck, those people are still stuck in stage 3 of this awakening, apparently. Or stage 2. But anyways, seeking guidance is natural because you like someone goes to online and searches for some information from a person who's expert or knowledgeable about certain topics. Like if I wanted to pick up a new skill, like I used to love to play chess. I never became excellent at it or something. I think my highest rating was only like 1800. But yeah, I would go and study all the people who are experts in that. That's seeking guidance, seeking information from a book. But you're not meant to sit there and worship someone that you are studying from or teaching them, calling them master and guru and, acting like they're better. But, that's maybe what is being presented because there was some teacher in Hinduism. He wasn't teaching Hinduism. He was just teaching. He was a Hindu, obviously, because the way he had his dot and the way he dressed. I used to get, when I was learning, I would get guidance from watching his content. But then I learned that he was all about the guru and that he's the guru and that you have to go through a guru. As soon as I learned all that nonsense, goodbye. See you later. So you don't need a guru. You don't need some middleman to activate you. Like this guru thinks you can't do certain things without him activating you. You have to be activated by the guru. No, you don't. You don't need a Messiah. You don't need a Yahweh. You don't need a bishop or a pope or a priest to God. Inner God, inner Christos, and they can't stand that. They will judge us. They will make nasty remarks in chat or in my videos. That's the consciousness on planet Earth that the Guardians are calling descending Earth, falling into the phantom. Speaking phantom, a thinking phantom. You're going into phantom. Speaking phantom is speaking fear, speaking shame, devaluing women, talking about being subservient, doing blind worship. It's all, you saw the 12 attitudes or responsibilities, or the 12 attitudes of mastery. Do you see anything like that? And we show on the screen the false creeds. So what you see there in those sources are false creeds. And you could literally say the opposite creeds of God, the real God. And even the real Jesus. Because Jesus wasn't teaching that biblical message of fear, guilt, shame, subservience, and you're a horrible person. No, Jesus was empowering you, telling you that we're all children of God. And then he was teaching us ascension, and he used that ascension technology to go to leave. No sacrifice required. Machiwa. Yeah, fact. Nobody's coming to save you. And if there's any saving done, that's you saving yourself from this descending earth, which is a collective karma. We're here in a descending earth as 8 billion people because we got here from what we were, doing before. It didn't help to have fallen angelic influences either, but we still used our free will to be subservient to these fallen angels, to worship these fallen angels as gods, to worship anger as divine. Somebody's lost. 8 billion people are lost. Because if you go look at religion, at the statistics of religions, look, if you looked at this is scary when you see this, man. Can I do this in, let me see. Window capture. Maybe a window capture. I think that's it. Yeah, I think this will work. It's not switching over though. This crap happens to my... I'm trying to share the window. Why isn't it sharing the window? Gee. Maybe I will open a new window capture. Let's do that. Window capture 2. Oh, wow. It works right away. Gee. As soon as I do it. Okay. Okay. So you go into Google and put percentages, or no, what was that word? A graph. Religion, different religion graph. Something like that. I don't know how to word it right now. I'm just going to say that. Different religions graph. Or chart. Let's use the word chart. Look in images. Like a wheel, a pie chart. This is 290 pixels. Let's look for something bigger. This one's 800 pixels. I want to see the text on there. Okay, this is closer. So we know there's 8 billion humans. 53% are Christians. 35%, what? Atheists? No way, dude. I know this is not accurate. I know the was it? Yeah, let me get a different source. Like, for real, man. Like, that's crazy. This is more accurate. I've seen plenty of this. Let's see if I can get it to look bigger, though. This is why I'm transparent. I want you guys to see it. Okay, Muslims 23%, Hindus 15%, a big chunk. Unaffiliated 16%, Buddhists very small, folk religions, other religions, Jews. I wonder why they did that. 2% or 0.2%. So this is just gives you a rough idea. Billions of people are following these angry, pissed off gods. That's what I wanted to show. Shit. Okay. This is very significant that so many people believe in judgment, right? Yeah, I was in Sliders 8. I was in the audience. Yeah, where's us? It would be 0.01%, dude. It would be probably smaller than that. Anyways. Who gave us the Kalantic yoga exercises? I haven't gotten that. Is that Tantriya Hura? Please write it in the comments if you're studying Tantriya Hura. Or please share with us what workshop you saw that. I haven't seen that workshop. That's very interesting. I would like to know myself. I love you, James. I love you, brother. And it's okay, man. No hard feelings. I love you. Giannis. Oh, the Guardians. Yanni, yeah. So I don't want to get too far off because we're only on number 4, stage number 4. Let me see. I keep looking in the wrong areas. Sorry, guys. Seeking guidance. Yeah, we will eventually be our own guidance. You will be eventually get enough information. The key thing is, you guys, you can respect and admire knowledgeable people, but we're not meant to have them as our guru. And you can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you what to do. We're just simply telling you that we go inside. Okay, and you'll be used to going inside, and that's why we have within our practices meditation. It forces you to go inside. Okay, and these teachings will tell you about your higher self. Your higher self is who you're connecting to, and those are and it's going to be hard and difficult if you don't believe in unity. Because that explains all these parts of you, which are part of the unity, part of the God. And you're this self, but you're also these other selves in all these different levels. And you can realize that the higher levels have less distortion than you. They know more. They're more psychic. So instead of going to someone here in the matrix for advice, for knowledge, for your Christ consciousness, no. We talk about going inside to your higher selves who are Christed avatars, and which you will become in 3D, a Christic being. By bringing that in, we bring it in, that higher consciousness, activate our chakras all the way up to our 12th strand, or 12th chakra, which is pure white, by the way, right? 6 inches below your feet. And so there's ones above your head, there's ones within your body, there's ones, around your head, there's minor chakras, and there's different kinds of, they all have different purposes and activations. So, but in these teachings, you're going to learn 1 through 12, where they are and what their spectra is. What that is what we want to pull in. So if you're practicing that here, you're pulling in your Christ consciousness, your Buddhaic consciousness, your Nirvanic consciousness, your angelic, your archangelic, your avatar consciousness. Because this is the level of these teachings. New Age only takes you to 5D. New Age only says you 7 chakra charts. We show you 15 chakra charts. And I might as well bring that up. This is part of your spiritual awakening, your stages of awakening. Seeing where this consciousness is and how it's connected to the chakras. And which are called spinning vortices. It's a freaking gateway, man. What is a Stargate? A portal, a doorway to another reality, a higher version. This is a doorway. This is a doorway to your other consciousness. So if you open that door, you're opening your connection to your own angel, archangel, avatar, Christ avatar, ascended master. Open these gateways. While you got New Agers, some people saying it's dangerous. Don't open your chakra. Okay, that's the exact opposite. Suggestion. Those people want you to be dumbed down. That sounds like it's coming from the Jehovah Anunnaki New Age channeling movement. That's what that sounds like. Experiencing synchronicities. Stage number 5. We're getting there. Holy cow. I didn't know it's already 8:15. We're going to go to 9 if you guys want to hang out. 9 o'clock my time. The next hour. Okay. You'll be experiencing stage 5. It's a generalized idea of the stages. As you become more attuned to your spiritual path, because now you're going beyond the seeking guidance and the inner turmoil. As you become more attuned to your spiritual path, you start noticing meaningful coincidences and synchronicities. 333, 1111. Oh, I just was thinking about you, and now here you are. Synchronicities. These events, which seem too perfect, because they are statistically impossible to happen so regularly, it becomes very intense, you guys, which seem too perfect to be mere chance, and serve as signs that you are on the right path and connected to a greater universal flow. And so that's what, now you're starting to become more from the seeking guidance. Now you're going deeper into the, you would say, planetary level, galactic level, universal levels. You're not just limiting yourself to 3D or, so you expand and go beyond and start seeing all these things line up. Things will, and you guys, please share your synchronicities in your awakening. Your testimonies help other people on their journey. And this is a group effort. All of this chat is also helping other people. So, damn, did you guys hear that rooster? So, my sister had a rooster, and the city told them that they had to get rid of it. So she ate it. I don't know where that came from, but anyways, it's a rooster at 8:20 in the night. Happy Tuesday, Warren B. Yeah, you're reading sliders already, huh? That's advanced stuff. Yeah, but did you know there's 4 levels of Kathara? Yeah. Thank you guys. And so we're sharing these teachings, and it is advanced teaching. So there's lots of studying to do, a lot of workshops to get through, a lot of diagrams to digest and understand. and then it makes sense up here. So, and but yeah, you guys, so this is where you start seeing all these things, and you may start seeing all these angel numbers. Like before, maybe you thought it was total BS, but then it starts happening to you, and things are just way too coincidental. It just becomes miraculous. It becomes beautiful. It becomes a sign for you, a confirmation that you are on your path that you're meant to do. It's kind of like a nudge. Hey, keep on doing what you're doing. You're going somewhere. And once again, we have multidimensional consciousness. Those parts of you are the one doing the nudging. Here's a 333. Here's a 144. What's your number? Here it is. This has a meaning. Check it out. Now you're getting messages in your dreams. Okay? You're seeing spirit guides. You're seeing things line up. You're seeing synchronicities. And it's not coincidence. So at first, you're going to think it's all, oh man, your 3D mind's going to say, oh, that was just coincidence. I remember myself doing that. No way, man. That was coincidence. That's just coincidence. There's a percentage that can happen. That's just coincidence. You're going to go beyond that because it's going to keep coming, and it's going to be, you're going to see so many synchronies, you're going to know. Okay, that's just, come on, right? Number 6 out of 10 stages that we're talking about. Could be more, could be less, depending on your journey. Machiwa! Spiritual practices and healing. See, now you're moving up, vatos. To deepen your awakening, you engage in various practices, spiritual practices, such as meditation, yoga, energy healing, qigong, tai chi, reiki, prayer. These practices help you to heal old wounds, realize negative patterns, and cultivate inner peace and awakening. So now you're interested in, okay, now all these other people who are interested in now the things I'm interested in, what are they doing? Well, they're doing yoga. They're doing, they work with crystals. You're going to probably go buy crystals. You're probably going to start wearing crystals. Not to be in fashion, not to join the bandwagon or something, new age bandwagon. No, because there's actual literal properties of crystals. Right now, I can feel energy from this crystal ball. I'll put it in this hand. Let's check. Yes, I feel it around my fingertips and right here, mostly, but throughout my whole hand. And you can shift it around, move it around. And there's many things that you can do with crystals. And there's different shapes, different stones, like they have different properties. An amethyst will have different properties than this crystal. An Orlite 23 would have different, and some people use these with intention, like spells or whatever, to make something manifest, to help them. Whatever your exploration, you guys, I recommend that you explore. Even if you think it's new age or something weird, but you realize when you get to the point where you're God sovereign free and that you just want to explore things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even exploring with plant medicine, there's nothing wrong with that. You're going to have other light workers tell you there is something wrong with that. Let them. You stand in your God sovereign free while they're trying to go against your God sovereign free, telling you what you should do and shouldn't do. Let those people go out of your life. Put boundaries from those people. So now you no longer have this distortion. You do what you want to explore. You want to learn about the occult? Go learn about the occult. You want to learn about, anything that's perceived by some people as not good, but you know that you're Christ conscious. You know that you're going to that is your motivation to be ascension, because that's what spiritual awakening leads to, an ascension. So, but now you're going to try yoga maybe. What does that do for you? What did it do for you? Write it in the comments, you guys, if these helped your spiritual journey, right? Maybe you have something very unique. Like, I know some people can do dowsing rods. Okay? They're exploring all this stuff and seeing if it's BS or not, and seeing if they have some experience in their life. You know, because you hear people having a Kundalini awakening, or they have some, they see some spirit guide that changed their life, or they had some just awakening. Like, I just had a wonderful guest yesterday. Please look at that video if you haven't. And she was talking about her awakening happening through a car accident. And so, you know, that's not necessarily like yoga or something, but what I'm saying is we all have these background experiences of where we came from and what we did. And what I may have done may not be the same thing you did. But I was going into all kinds of things, man, like even using, like, I was big into the light sound machines and binaural beats, and you know, seeing the flashing and hearing the beats. It puts you in an altered state if it's difficult for you to go in an altered state. Ultimately, I don't do that anymore because I don't want to hear sounds and lights. I want to be in complete darkness and silence. I'll put blindfold and earplugs in, and then you're truly going inside. I mean, there's less distractions. So that's part of stage 6, you guys. You're now going to start exploring stuff, and you guys list some of that stuff in your commentary to other people. You know what you went through. List some of the things that you practice. There's all kinds of spiritual practices that you can say kind of like train or practice your awakening. Like it helps your extrasensory perceptions to train visualization techniques, or maybe you're going to do self-hypnosis, or because you want to learn your past lives, or, you know, past life regression. You know, that's where self-hypnosis could come in. But the truth of it is, you want to go inside your inner Christos and find it that way. Bring in your soul consciousness that way. But all these different things, you guys, there's reasons why people are doing them. Maybe some of them are nonsensical, but other ones are help you. And I think if you're fresh from religion and you're going into this stuff and it's weird to you, you need to go through that kind of stuff. Because it introduces you to new practices, new training, new ways of thinking. And it doesn't mean you're going to use that as a lifelong practice. It was something that got you somewhere in your journey. And why not try something like yoga or meditation? I mean, if anything, meditation should definitely be one of them. Another thing is practicing breath work. That's a science, you guys. There's books on breath work. There's all kinds of belief systems that teach breath work. So that's just one of many things. I think indigo too. I think indigo should be a teacher too. And I you know, we see these people stepping up. And you don't have to be an expert, you guys. I'm not an expert. I'm not a master. You guys don't have to be masters. You can teach and share. And people will gravitate to you because you're teaching something that, you know, they're not used to hearing about. But you spark something in them because they're also part of the Christos team, but they've been sleeping, but you just sparked them. Will that not feel good that you wake up some more people, right? Thank you, Kiefer Storm. South Africa. Whoa, Ty, really? What time is it there in South Africa? I can imagine, right? Yeah, you said it, James. There's actually something called ego work. And so I don't think I put it on this list, but one of the two things every new person to spirituality should do is ego work and shadow work. Okay, so these are very valuable for beginning things. So it sounds weird, shadow work, but what some people call negative energy, they call shadow. If you're, thinking, thoughts are energy. So that's why we try to transmute shadow thoughts, shadow speech, how you talk to people, how you think naturally in your own mind when you're alone. Okay, here's an interesting idea. If you're alone, you say, nobody can read my thoughts, so I'm not doing anything wrong. That's not the point. The point is that every single thought you have is frequency raising or lowering, or staying in the same place, all right? But so what you do think in your own time or whatever is important. Because if you're damning yourself or damning people, oh, they didn't hear me because it's in my thoughts. That's your vibration. That's what is your, awareness. Okay? And so we go through a period of time in our spiritual journey of correcting ourselves, of healing ourselves. Like a lot of us, I wasn't like big into it, but it's been parts of my life where I was cussing all the time. Profanity. That's one example of many. We want to transmute that. That's shadow work right there. Catching yourself from cussing, saying the F word all the time, saying the C word or whatever. I'm watching this show a few times. What's it called? The Boys. And it's about these superheroes and all this stuff. And it's horrible things. I stopped watching it because they do so many horrible things. But this character kept using the C word all the time. Almost everything he said the C word. Right? So that's profanity. What is profane words? You keep speaking these profane words. What are they? This is your consciousness, homie. You know how this whole idea, get your mind out of the gutter? Excuse me. People put their minds in the gutter. They're like speaking it all the time. Especially when a group of guys, it's not just guys, but guys would get together and if you don't feel like you're cool if you're not cussing. All these other big, strong guys, F this, F that. You see that, bitch? Have you F'd her yet? Where is this consciousness, man? And who wants to talk to you when you're cussing all the time? Who wants you in their company of friends when you're saying F this, F that, and they're not? Right? Shadow work. You're cleaning up your thoughts and your speech patterns. You're letting go of it. You're transmuting that. You guys, don't beat yourself up. Don't feel bad. Just simply start shifting and correcting. And you will eventually, I've heard even Ashiana say it. If you think I'm making this up, dude, Ashiana said it. If you have a negative thought, stop it and think the reverse thought. It cancels out the negative thought. You could even say no or stop and then start thinking and saying the opposite thing. Okay? Adjust. Fix. This is what shadow work is. You're adjusting what you're used to doing. You're fixing and training. You're a grown adult. Your mommy's not telling you what to do. You got to do it. So we have to remind ourselves and catch ourselves, train ourselves, improve ourselves. No one else is going to do it for you. Maybe you got a girlfriend who's on your ass about your bad habits or things, or vice versa. We're not picking on guys. Your girlfriend, whatever, wife. So this is a new pattern. You want to change the old pattern so you become mindful of it and switch it to the new pattern. But yeah, spiritual practices is where we left off. And so, number 7, letting go of ego. OMG. James just captured that one. I mean, he actually was, that's synchrony, man. That's number 5. Letting go of ego. And I basically already answered this by doing ego work, catching yourself from being ego. When you catch yourself and you have a significant stage in the journey involves recognizing and transcending the ego, the negative ego. You begin to identify less with your thoughts, emotions, and societal roles, and more with your true higher self instead of the ego self, right? This process involves... Okay, so I just want to add on to that a lot of people are coming from the space of ego. And it's called our reasoning mind, but there's something called negative ego. There's a good ego, okay? That's your mental body, the 3D self, looking out into the hologram. But it is where the ego wants to be the boss or controlling, almost like an alter ego. It's a spiritual ego. It's kind of like an alter ego that wants to do the decision making in your life. So you're switching, or you're in your ego instead of being into your higher, what your soul wants. You're going what your ego 3D wants. But we go beyond the ego because we're going beyond the 3D consciousness. So we're going beyond the ego to reach higher levels of wisdom, enlightenment from our family of consciousness, and to transcend this lower vibration down here. And it's also how you look at other people. The negative ego comes in. So it is your mental body. You don't get rid of the ego. You heal the negative ego. Because it's like some people in the New Age channeling, it's just called New Age movement, right? They give you the opposite advice. They say throw away, get rid of your ego. What? It's your third chakra. It's your third level of consciousness. It's your mental body aura. You don't take it and throw it away. You don't throw away the ego, the third dimensional reasoning mind. You heal the negative distortion of your ego. Much you up. Number 8 is developing intuition. Now you're getting experience in your spirituality. This is where I would say, this is where you start feeling ascension symptoms. As your connection to the higher self strengthens, your intuition becomes more pronounced. Okay? Just like some people start experiencing empathy, which is a psychic perception of other people's emotions. Okay? You learn to trust your inner guidance, your inner Christ, your inner Christos, and make decisions based on deeper knowing, higher knowing, rather than solely relying on rational thought, reasoning mind, ego mind. Okay? So we're developing the intuition. We see the 3D self down here. You start going into these higher realms, the astral realm, the archetype, the celestial. Okay? These are higher levels than the 3D earth. So now your visions, your ideas and concepts are now, you're spending more time up here in the intuition, which is beyond the 3D ego. You're going beyond the earth system into higher systems, higher dimensions, higher selves, your higher consciousness. Okay? And you do that by going into the heart chakra, 4th strand, 4th dimension, the throat chakra, blue ray, archetype it's called, and this is the celestial self. So you want to get into the astral, archetype, and celestial levels of yourself. Focus on those chakras, focus on those, remember they're gateways, opening these gateways. They're described as wheels, spinning wheels. The truth of the matter is it's a gateway to these other dimensions in your body system, not acknowledged by science or religion. Okay? This is your spiritual awakening, your 10 stages of spiritual awakening. You will start to develop psychic perceptions, ESP, intuition, empathy, senses that most humans, 8 billion, do not experience. And so don't be scared. Maybe it'll be scary at first to start perceiving other worlds, other beings, other parts of you and creation. But you get used to it. I was afraid at first to see such powerful, profound things, but then I wasn't afraid. I embraced it. I was excited to see my next one, to experience my next intuition or higher self or vision, or light language coming from within. So this is a development, and you guys write it in the comments if you've had some extrasensory or intuition developed in your spiritual journey, and how did you react to that, right? Oh, clairvoyance. Yeah, there's clairvoyance, clairsentience, and there's actually clairknowing. But audience is hearing. So I've experienced all of those, man. Clairvoyance, clairsentience, like when I was in Peru, I experienced clairsentience. But not just then, I experienced it when I was in Vegas. I've had that a few times, clairsentience, where you feel something. I've felt beings touch me that weren't here. I'm alone in the room, man. And I actually was laying against a wall once, and something tapped my back. And there's a wall. What tapped my back? So, and I saw one of you guys mention your Fox spirit guide. Back in the day, that was one of my main spirit guides. And I've said this story before. Like, in the twilight hours you're awake, but not completely awake, but you're about to be awake or whatever, I felt the body of my Fox spirit guide. It was there lucidly. I saw it lucidly. But I was casually just loving on it and petting it. And then I realized my hand is feeling the body of the fox. It just blew me away. This is part of what you guys are going to be going through in stages of awakening. You're going to be experiencing paranormal, supernatural things. You're going higher up your journey. What's next after that, right? The Machiwa. Number 9, finding inner peace. With continued practice and self-discovery, you start experiencing a profound sense of inner peace and contentment. And isn't that what most people are trying to do? They're trying to get out of distortion. They're trying to get out of misery. They're trying to get out of suffering. They want peace, man. They want peace in their life. They want to find peace. They want inner peace. This stage is characterized by a stable sense of well-being because you're learning about healing. You transmuted the ego. You transmuted your shadow. You're starting to feel the starseed and indigo thing. And so obviously you start getting all this old shit out of you. You're going to start feeling a deep connection, a peace, an inner peace. And you can see it in the way someone handles themselves, how they speak and how they treat others. You'll see a peacefulness. They don't get riled up. I mean, someone can't trigger them. They're in the zone, man. It's like being in the higher version of yourself that knows. And once again, like I said at the beginning, you don't have to be a master or a guru. You don't have to know everything. But there's part of you that does know everything. And that's always a part of you and available to you. And so, but that inner peace is what a lot of us seek. We want to have that calm. We want that security. We want that, it feels like also you feel like you're closer to Creator God. It feel like you're being protected by higher levels of spirit. Okay? I mean, don't you think that higher beings notice when they start to see these other consciousness rise up? They can perceive you. They can interact with you, if they're part of your family. So this is a level of yourself. And I just want to finish off. We're not done with the live. I just want to say the last one. Embodying, number 10 out of the 10 stages of spiritual awakening, embodying higher consciousness. The final stage involves fully integrating your spiritual insights, all the lessons you've learned, into everyday life. You embody higher consciousness in your actions, relationships, and way of being, living in alignment with your true self, which is your higher selves, your Christ self, your ascended master self, and inspiring others by your example. And think about it, you guys. You're going through changes to become a greater version of yourself. You want to be a better version of yourself. And it's not about an act. It's not pretending to be this Christ conscious person and not actually being it. You want to actually, speak. That's one of the attitudes of mastery. Integrity. Impeccability. Be a walking example, a walking, talking example of Christ consciousness, of unity consciousness. And like I said with my notes, others will notice, others will seek that inspiration. You will be an inspiration, a beacon of that light, which is, in our teachings, the original creator God's intention of this whole 15-dimensional time matrix. Unconditional love, what we go even farther, called omni-love. You love beings unconditionally, and you love all beings. Not everyone can do that. Even in our group, we get people saying that, and that's okay. I can't love that person or this person. Okay. So maybe one day you will. So, and you'll see yourself in that zone. You'll see yourself embodying this higher consciousness. And it will be natural, organic, no act, no ego space, not one of those snobby spiritual people. Machiwa. You guys are awesome in awakening yourselves. Melinda said it. She's experiencing that. Indigo Wizard, yeah. There's one diagram, and I'll share it with you guys, and you can share it with others, and you've probably seen it before. So I'll do that since... where is this? This is in... Okay. Yeah, just give me a second, guys. I'll find it real quick. Files. I think I found it. Let me... Oh, yeah. I found it. So let me switch over to Photoshop. And someone asked about Stargates. Indigo's trying to help somebody with Stargates. And here's... What? Wrong one. PDFs. No, not PDFs. I want... What the shit is going on? Okay. What? I lost myself. Okay, here we go. This is a PDF that I can share with you guys. So, Stargates, it talks about time portals, dimensional lock system. It shows you how it's working. This is a real thing. This is not science fiction. Okay? Stargates are real. I mean, people talking about portals, people are talking about wormholes. Well, there's a science behind it. And the Emerald Order Teachings breaks it down. This is just one diagram, but of course they go into great detail. They exist as black and white hole pairs, stargates, dude, that are connected at the center. That's the gateway. That's the portal. By a scalar frequency seal. So you could say the seal has to be and they're called crystal seals. And that is one of the ways you learn in Kathara of how to activate your chakras, your higher chakras, which have seals on them. And you're going to learn how to remove the seals. And that's what chakras are. They're stargates. The Guardians call stargates Templar. Your chakras are Templars. And so these are Templars, or connections to higher levels of yourself in different space-time. But yeah, black and white whole pairs, man. And so there's these levels of, these are universal stargates, from density matter 1 going to density matter 2 of Tara, going to density matter 3 of Gaia, going to density matter 4 of Armentana. Machiwa. So stargates are a big thing. Like, they're huge. It's how ascension works. Without stargates, you wouldn't have ascension. You couldn't leave, and we couldn't have UFOs come, and you couldn't ascend anywhere. You'd be stuck here without a stargates. And so there's Stargate in Machu Picchu, in Sedona, Painted Desert of Arizona, in China, in Russia, in Peru. There's 2 of them. There's Lake Titicaca as well. There's all kinds of chakra. We list the 12 different locations on Earth in one of my videos. It's in the teachings. So yeah, you guys. Since we went through them all, I want to say a poll. I want to say a poll. If any of you guys are experiencing, let me refresh my screen, spiritual awakening symptoms, or I would say the stages of spiritual awakening. Okay, are you, let me create a poll, start a poll. And if you're not, it's okay, you guys, no big deal. Maybe you're not into that, or you're not looking for that, or you're not ready for that. Are you experiencing stages, any stages of spiritual awakening? Oh, I should probably spell awakening right, correctly. Yes, no, not sure, or on my way. No, just put yes if it's any. I'm not sure, because some people just don't know how to answer certain questions. So I just always leave that as an option. Start poll. Machiwa Holy Ones, much respect to all of you and your spiritual journey. 100% say yes. OMG! 94%, now I'm back to 100%, 90%. It's going to go like this, teeter-totter, until it goes into a stabilization. But it's in the 90s, man. I think that's why you guys are here. Yes, sir, says Sarah. Good night, HV. Bless you, souls. And we'll be going probably in 10 minutes or so. Monster Quinn's going to sleep too soon. Magical dreams. Yeah, you guys. But yeah, this has been enlightening, and hopefully it's helpful for some people, because it does really help someone to know that they're on their direction. Because some of these are not positive things, so you would think maybe you're doing something wrong. And it gets stuck on stage 3 or something, right? But yeah, and oh wait, I didn't notice this. M, thank you, M. Bless you, Holy One. And I saw these things late. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, that was an hour ago. Thank you, M. If you're still here, hopefully M is still here. Thank you, Holy One. 888. All right. Coconut water is life. Can even give a person an IV with the coconut water. And actually, that's what a lot of people are using in smoothies or coconut milk, you know. I believe there's properties of that as well. But thank you so much for supporting this work, Em. And HV, Star Sister, thank you so much, Star Sister. Awesome live tonight. Thank you, Christos Avatar, learning so much. Bless you, dear. Thank you for being here again. And I know a lot of you are regulars. And I don't know if you guys knew, but I had 2 lives yesterday. One with my guest and one separately. So, plus I uploaded a video yesterday. There's a few videos to catch up on. So, and I want to say, you guys, if you like any of this work, any of this information, please consider supporting this work. Help your brother Anuhasia out. Help this channel grow and reach more people. And I do this for you. I work full time, literally out of 7 days a week, almost 100 hours plus. And so I'm always doing this, and you guys are the ones that help me earn anything in my life. You're the only way I can have a paycheck, right? So bless you. I don't have a boss or an employer, but this is the way I can sustain myself, by keep on sharing what I love the most in my life. It's my focus. So thank you for that. If you guys can support this work, either through a live chat, super chat donation, or through a PayPal donation, there's a link below. And there's also an Etsy link below, so you can check out my artwork or buy one of my crystals. And another way is to become a paid member. That shows that you care about this work and that you want to study it more, because even if you're $5 or $50, it doesn't matter. You still get access to the Discord chat group. Okay, you guys? So you get to hang out with more of us like-minded starseeds and indigos. Even if you don't have that label for yourself, that's fine. You're going through your stages of spiritual awakening. And wouldn't it be great to be with other like-minded people who are doing the same thing? Like, I saw this one group. It was a breatharian group. And so they have their own membership area. And so this is not me. This is someone else. And so they can support each other in their fasting, because it's challenging. You'll have circumstances. You'll have questions. And so we go in a group of us who care about each other generally, right? Who are genuinely trying to obtain a higher level of themselves with your help and support, right? So thank you guys so much for being with me. I don't know why, but I'm sort of hungry. I usually don't feel hunger, but I am hungry tonight. So I will be. I don't have my alkaline chili made. And when it's already 9 o'clock in the evening for me, I don't feel like cooking that, because that takes me an hour to do all the vegetables. Because I got to cut 20 tomatoes. First of all, it fills a pot of a pot this big. It's vegan, alkaline, electric chili. No meat, only vegetables, no fruits. So I have I guess tomatoes are fruit by some people's standards. Okay, whatever. So it certainly doesn't taste sweet like a fruit. But I have 20 tomatoes. I do four bell peppers, 2 green, 2 red. I'm doing celery. I'm doing carrots. I'm doing zucchini. I'm doing onions. I'm doing seasonings. So yeah, it takes an hour. And then it takes an hour to cook. And I shouldn't be cooking, but that's one of my favorite alkaline meals. And so, hey man, I love it. And I haven't gotten tired of it. I can eat it every day because it tastes delicious. Go figure. So thank you guys for hanging with us. Bless all of you and your journey. It's not easy, as you can see. So keep on. You guys, don't give up on your stages of spiritual awakening. You're going to get there. You will get to that intuition level. You will get to the inner peace level. You will get to the incarnate Christ avatar level. Much respect to you in your journey, holy wands. As we unveil who we truly are. Machiwa. Aim high, because you are. You're not low. You're not some guilty sinner. You are not limited to that distortion. Aim high. Aim for your Christ avatar. Aim for your 12th dimensional consciousness. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Bless all of you in your journey. And I will be seeing you guys soon, hopefully on a flip-flop. We'll be doing another live on Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be releasing a video about Merkaba. I'm making a short video about Merkaba, so look out for that. Good night, you guys. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you to all my people who are already members, who are already supporting this work. A shout out to all my members. Some of you have been here for a few months, 6 months. Some of you have been a member for a year. And give a shout out to Starman's mom. I know we haven't seen Starman in a while, but he's still our brother and he might be going through a lot. So send love and prayers to Starman and anyone else in the group who needs. That's part of the benefit of being part of a group, is having your homies looking after you. So we're guardians, and we are a group of guardians. What's up? Good night, you guys. Bless you, all of you, and I'll see you soon. See you in the next live, and let's kick some ass. Let's kick some holy ass, man. What's up? Or I shouldn't say holy ass. I mean, we should be kicking some evil asses. There's no such thing as evil. Negative asses. We should be kicking some fallen angelic ass. Let's kick some fallen angelic asses, man. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Okay. Send healing into the world. Send Christos love into the world. And kick holy ass. What's demon ass or fallen angelic ass. Anyways, guys, bless you. Good night. Let's see. Shaddai. Let's say it together. Shaddai Hure Akuntan. This is Lyran Anuhazi language. Shaddai Hure Akuntan. Shaddai Hure Akuntan. Omedai Patuma. Omedai Patuma. Patuma Edeta Ekuna. Omedai Patuma. Tretila. My fingertips, man. Iderna. Tretila. Iderna. Derma Ekemta Ekumna. Omedai Patuma. I am Christar. I am Christar. I am Christar. I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. And so it is. Machiwa. Makaya. Masutas.